and in today's tutorial, it's going to be a continuation of the course MTH106. I mean, it's a lot of volumes this semester. All right. So with this being said, let's hop straight into it. Okay. So we have MTH106, and the topic for today is depth instrument. All right, depth instrument. All right, we will be dissecting what it is. All right, what it means by depth instrument. All right, now when we say depth instrument, what are we talking about? All right, now this is said to be a document, all right, or an electronic obligation that does what? Enables, okay, enables the issuing party, all right, to raise funds by promising to repay a lender. Now, we have one thing we need to know about this instrument is that it cannot be used in isolation. All right, it involves, all right, the activities between parties. All right, involves parties. That's the first thing we need to know. It involves parties. Now, one person in this party, what, is the one giving the obligation, right, that enables the issuing party. Now, the issuing party, all right, we have the issuing, that's the issuing party, all right, and the receiving party, all right, involves party, all right, a what? A paper or an electronic what? Obligation. Electronic obligation. All right. Now, okay, Mr. Jolas, it's great to have you join the stream. Now we're talking about debt instrument, and for what we have been saying, all right, it is a what? It is a paper or an electronic obligation, all right, and it involves parties, all right. To give out this instrument involves parties. Parties are involved, all right. Majorly, there are two parties involved, all right. We have the issuing party and we have the receiving party. Seriously, the information I put out is MTH105. My goodness, that must have been a typographical error. So sorry about that. That must have been a typographical error. Wow. That must have been, let me quickly confirm that. But if that is the case, that must have been. Thank you for drawing my attention to that, Mr. Jolas. Thank you for drawing my attention to that. Okay, from what I can see here is MTH106. I really don't, or maybe could it be that from the website? Trying to confirm that quickly. All right. So while I confirm that, as I was saying, there are two parties involved. Okay. Oh yes, Mr. Jolas, you are right. Yes, you are right. I've just seen it now. It's MTH1. It's quite, look at the way I'm contradicting myself. The thumbnail says MTH106, but on the website I wrote MTH105. So sorry about that. That must have been a typographical error from me. All right. So back to our class. We're talking about debt instrument. All right, and we said that there are parties involved. All right, we have the giving party and we have the receiving party. All right, it's a trade instrument. This debt instrument is used to trade. Okay, and we have two parties involved, the receiving and the giving party. All right, now it is said to be what? A paper or an electronic obligation, right, that enables the issuing party to what? To raise funds, all right, by what? Promising to repay a lender, all right. So that means this receiving what? Party is referred to as a lender, all right, the lender, all right, the lender to what? Now, promising to repay a lender in accordance with terms of contract. All right. Basically, from what the name says here, it's a debt instrument. All right. It is basically used to what? Raise fund. All right. The issuing party, all right, to raise fund. Okay. Now, this is the person giving out the money. All right. And on the other end here, I think the issuing party is also the lender. All right, and we have the receivers or the receiving end. All right, now this person is giving out some funds, all right, with the intention to add interest, all right, that at a certain time, at a certain period of maturity, all right, if this person has given the capital, all right, or the principal of 50,000 naira, and he says, okay, I want to raise money with this 50,000 naira, so I'm putting interest of 10,000 naira in the next 1 year, or interest of 20,000 naira in the next 2 years. All right, on the receiving end, this person comes and gets it. All right, now the document or the obligation used to what? Ensure this transaction is what we now refer to as the debt instruments. All right, and there are types of debt instruments. All right, we have them as types. We have bonds. All right, just like we said this in our last class, that bonds are instruments used by government, all right, to raise money. Okay, bonds, government sells out these bonds, all right, to people, all right, to the public, so that they can make money. It's one way they use in raising money. Okay, say something about bonds, certificates, most. Okay, and we have, all right, all these agreements usually between the lender, all right, and the borrower. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's proceed. Now we have, okay, now we have what we call, all right, now let's look at the analysis. Okay, let's look at the analysis of Investotopia. All right, let's look at the analysis of Investotopia on the topic debt instrument. All right, Investotopia invests, all right, Investopedia, all right, gave an analogy. All right, Investopedia gave an analogy. Okay, just a moment. And according to Investopedia, debt instruments are what? Are ways for marketers and participants, all right, marketers and participants to what? Easily transfer the ownership of debt obligation. All right, the easy transfer of ownership of debt obligation from one party to the other. Now, this debt obligation we are talking about simply means that process whereby the lender, all right, releases some fund to the borrower, all right, that the transaction in between these parties is what we are talking about, is what we are referring to as debt obligation. Now, this man is obligated, the borrower is obligated, all right, to the lender. Now, the proof of that obligation, the proof of that transaction is where this debt instrument comes in. And we have various types of debt instruments. We have bonds, we have mortgage, and we have leases, just to mention but a few. All right. No, now in accordance or according to all this analysis, Investopia then said something about what we have been talking about, debt instruments, and it is referred to as a what? The transfer, all right, the enhancement, all right, the enhancement of transfer debt ownership or obligation from one party to the other, all right, all right, ways, now debt instrument, all right, ways, all right, ways, all right, for marketers and participants, all right, for marketers or participants, all right, marketers or participants to easily what? Transfer ownership, all right, transfer ownership of what? All right, ownership of debt obligation, all right, from one party of debt obligation from one party to the other, all right, according to Investopedia. Okay, Miss Blessing, good evening. It's good to have you on the stream. So we have that as that. Now let's proceed. All right. Now, debt obligation transferability, all right, increases the what? Liquidity, all right, and gives creditors a means of what? Trading debt on the market. I think that should be in the market. All right, debt obligation, all right, the medium, all right, or the opportunity, all right, to transfer debts. It's like you are selling debts, all right, the trading of debts. And what are we talking about in essence? It needs money, I have the money, I get an interest, all right. So now debt instrument now makes it easy, all right, it makes liquid available. Now when we're talking about liquid, now we're talking about water, not I said water, cash, not water in particular. We're not saying liquid literally, right? We're talking about cash, flow of cash, all right. So now the debit obligation, all right, the possibility of transferring debt, all right, increases liquidity, all right. So we have it as debit obligation, all right, transferability, all right, does what? Increases liquidity, okay, increases liquidity, all right, talking about cash flow, all right, liquid here, we're talking about money, cash, increases liquidity and gives what? Creditor, all right, a means of trading debt obligation on the market, in the market, all right, gives what? Creditor a means of what? Trading debt obligation, of trading debt obligation. Just like as I said earlier when we started this course, MTH106, okay, we're going to be meeting a lot of accounting terminologies, all right. Basically all these things, all right, are subjects you meet when you're taking ACC, all right. I think in my ND2 we did a lot of this. Then I think some of these things are found in the balance sheet and things like this. and when we treat reconciliation of accounts. All right, so we have that as that. Now let's proceed. Now, debt instruments does what? Facilitates what? Debt trading. All right, it facilitates debt trading, just like what we said here. When we say facilitation, like all the facilitation classes we have, all right, students used to have facilitation classes for students, all right, just that same way to facilitate learning, so does debt instrument facilitate, all right, debt trading. So now let's talk about the characteristics and properties, all right, of bonds. All right, let's not forget what we refer to bond as. You know, it keeps coming up, it keeps popping up, it keeps coming, we keep meeting it every now and then. Let's not forget what we refer to bonds. All right, so we said bonds are issued by government and corporations. All right, we said bonds are what? Instruments. All right, issued out, all right, by government and corporation when they want to raise money. All right, so when you and me now buy bonds, all right, we are like giving government loan, or that corporation that is selling bond, we are borrowing them money. All right, we are borrowing them money. All right, and they will agree to pay back with what we call face value, all right, of the loan on a specific date. All right, and pay off, all right, interest, your periodic interest along the way. So we have, now let's talk about what we have here as the characteristics, all right, and properties of bonds. All right, bonds are often referred to as debt instruments, okay, debt obligation or fixed security. All right, bonds, they are often referred to as what? Debt instrument. All right, debt instrument. We have debt obligation. All right, and we have fixed income security. Fixed income securities. Now, let's talk about characteristics of bond. All right, we have coupon. All right, we have coupon. All right, coupon rate. Now, the rate of interest that a bond pays to the bond holder is called coupon rate. All right, the rate of interest. All right, the rate of interest that a bond pays to a bond holder. All right, bonds pay to a bond holder. Now let me explain this coupon rate to us with the analogy, with the analysis of where I used to work one certain time. Okay, that place is actually a cafeteria. All right, students don't spend real money. Okay, now they come with a ticket. All right, I want to explain this bond to us, this coupon. I mean, now it's a open university. I said open university. African University of Science and Technology here in Abuja. All right, it's a school that is owned by different African countries. Now, they are on scholarship, right? So I think it's more of ladies that are given 100% scholarship. I think the guys have maybe 50% scholarship. Now, what am I trying to say in essence? Their scholarship covers feeding. All right. Now, the institution has to bring in someone from outside. All right. Have to what? Employ the catering service of an outsider to run their cafeteria for them. Why? Because the institution, the university, does now their finance is not fixed because they don't get money directly for the students. All right, their finance is on grants. All right, from the different bodies. Don't forget that these students are on scholarship. They don't pay directly to the school. All right. So in order not to keep these students hungry, because this students scholarship covers for feeding, accommodation, and some certain things. So now the school, this is actually a strategy anybody can use in its own business. Now the school has to what, employ an outsider to manage the cafeteria. Now this outsider what, manage the cafeteria, all right, with their own money. All right, they keep the cafeteria running with their own money for a certain period, all right, until the school gets funding, because the school funding comes, it doesn't have a specific time it comes, all right, just like giving reports of, okay, in the next 5 years, in the next 3 to 2 years, this is a certain amount to be needing, all right, even okay, maybe their budget might be 10 million and they might not even get fund of 10 million, maybe they can get fund of 8 or 7 million, right? And from that 8 7 million, facilitations, like okay, facilities, they need to maintain their facility, they need to attend to this, they need to attend to, and they also need to attend to the cafeteria. Now the strategy used by the school now, after employing an assistant or a business entity, a cafeteria, catering service from an outsider, all right. Now the students are given coupon, all right. They have coupon for breakfast and they have for lunch and for dinner. Now this coupon now serves as money. They don't have literal, they are not liquid, let's use that, they are not liquid, all right, but those coupons given to them by the school, all right. For example, in a week you are entitled to maybe 5 in a week, Monday to, that's 7 days, 7 coupon for breakfast, 7 coupon for lunch, 7 coupon for dinner. Now these coupons are submitted, they are treated dearly, right, by these students, because if you give your coupon to another person, they can use it, your name is not written on it, all right. But the thing is that when you bring it to the cafeteria, there's a stamp, all right, there's a sign, there's a mark we give, that we use on the coupon to let them know that okay, this is the so coupon and it has been used, and those coupons are dated. So you cannot use outdated coupon to, maybe if maybe you have your coupon for the week and you just decide not to use it and you not even give it out, it will become a waste. All right, now so this coupon is given at a particular rate. Like the coupon for breakfast is not as expensive as that for dinner and lunch. Now it says here, let me switch off the slide. It says here the rate of interest bond pay. Now the bond paid to the what? Bond holder. All right. Now the students here, they are the bond holder. All right. The school, all right, has the bond. All right. Now the cafeteria comes in on the receiving end. So the coupons are brought here to the cafeteria, all right, and the cafeteria now takes a record, because this is how the cafeteria gets paid when funds has arrived. So now to know that okay, this is a particular amount of money we are owing the cafeteria, all right, it has to be presented with what? With coupons that you have received or collected, all right. It's a lot of things involved, but this is how it works, all right. These are the people. Now the bond gives what? Rate of interest that the bond pays to the what? Now the amount on each of these coupon is the rate, the interest rate paid, all right, by the bond holder to the bond. All right, so we have that as that. I believe I've been able to explain that. Now we also have bearer bonds, all right. It is the third party. Okay, we have the bond holder would clip a coupon, all right, from the certificate and redeem it with the bond paying agent, all right, to collect. Now this is where the cafeteria comes in, all right. in order for the cafeteria to get their own fund and finances, all right, we have the certificate. Now the bondholder will keep a coupon from the certificate and redeem it with the bond paying agent, all right, which is the school, to collect, all right, their interest payment. So we have that as that, all right, and this is actually done whether quarterly, semi-annually, or on annual basis. All right, so we also have the zero coupon bonds, zero coupon bonds. All right, zero coupon bonds do not make coupon payments during the lifetime of the bond. All right, zero coupon bonds are sometimes called, all right, now zero coupon bonds, now zero as they are sometimes called, are bonds that pay no coupon or interest payments. All right, no coupon or interest payment. All right, no coupon or interest payment. So with a zero, instead of getting interest payment, all right, you buy the bond at a discounted form, all right, from the face value of the bond and are paid face amount when bonds are mature. All right, instead of paying interest, even at a discounted, all right, you get at a discounted price. All right, so we have floating rate bonds. Okay, floating rate bonds. We have one. Floating rate bonds. Now, the floating rate bond has a coupon rate that is pegged to a benchmark. All right, a coupon rate pegged to a benchmark. When we say benchmark, like a yardstick, a standard. All right, the coupon rate is pegged to a standard. There is a yardstick. All right, pegged to a standard. All right, and this standard might be referred to as a LIBOR. All right, and when we say LIBOR, it's an acronym. All right, it's an acronym for London Interbank what? Offered rate. Offered. All right, London Interbank offered rate. That is an abbreviation for LIBOR. All right, and it's a good example of what? Floating, all right, rate bonds. Okay, and this benchmark, all right, they can be adjusted, they can be adjustable, all right, and the adjustment is done periodically. Coupon rate pegged to a benchmark that can, okay, let me just put adjustable periodically. All right, adjustable periodically. All right, so we have this as this. Now, a bond whose interest rate is adjusted periodically according to what? A predetermined formula. Basically, can adjust adjust the coupon rate periodically based on a certain formula. All right, floating rate bonds are attractive to investors. All right, these are investors' favorite. Investors' favorite. All right, they are attractive to investors. All right, why is this so? They are attractive to investors because, all right, because investors are more interested in preserving the preservation of principal, right, than in having an assured amount of income, which is the interest. All right. Preserve principal over interest. All right. The guarantee that your principal is going to be preserved. All right. The guarantee that you get your principal back, even though interest might not come. All right. But it is preferable to them because there's a guarantee, there's an assurance that the principal is being preserved over having or getting what? An amount or a short amount of income. And we have something called the par value. Par value. All right. Now when we say par value, par amount. Now here we are talking about the par amount of a bond is the amount of principal, all right, that the bond holder will receive at maturity. All right, amount of principal that bond holder, all right, just like the students bringing their coupon to the cafeteria, all right, okay, at a particular time, this is the time you go for your lunch, your breakfast, and this is the value of your coupon. This is the value of what you are holding, right? The amount of principal, right, bond holder, right, will receive at maturity. Will receive at maturity. Okay. It's also referred to as face. All right. Face amount. Also referred to as face amount. All right. Par amount also referred to as face amount. All right. So we have that as that. Now we have maturity. Maturity. All right. Maturity. All right. Maturity date is the what? The specific day, month, or year that bond issuer is obligated to pay back. We call them BC. People that are owing. Awesome. So I must just smash the like button. Thank you for that. All right. It could be, all right, this is the date, specific date whereby the onigbese, sorry for using that word, meaning that the I think people that understand Yoruba will understand what I just said. The bond issuer, right, is obligated to pay back the principal to the bond holder. All right, specific dates whereby the what? Bond issuer, all right, is expected to pay, all right, to pay back the principal to the bond holder, to pay back the principal, right, to the bond holder, right, to pay back the principal to the bond holder. That is maturity. Okay, so we have, so from what is said here, who is a bond issuer? All right, a bond issuer. Now a bond issuer, all right, bond issuers are organizations that solicit to borrow money. Just like I said before, onigbese, bond issuers. All right. Bond issuers are organizations that solicit. Organization that solicits, all right, that solicits, all right, and borrow money, all right, and borrow, solicit and borrow money from bondholders, from bond holder. So now the bond holder is the person giving out, while the bond issuer is the person receiving. All right. So the bond issuer now in this case is referred to as the cafeteria. No, I beg your pardon. It's referred to as the school that needs the right the that needs an external hand, which is the cafeteria, to come and run its cafeteria. All right. So we have the issuer are organizations that solicit and borrow money from bondholders with the assurance of making periodic what interest payments, all right, and paying the principal amount when the bond is mature. All right, that is that for that. And bond is also said to be what a marketable instrument, right? Can be traced, all right, a marketable instrument. So I think in our next class we'll take it up from the theoretical part of linear, all right, linear programming. Okay, and hopefully I think in our next class should be done with the written part, the theoretical part of the course MTH106, and hopefully by next week we'll face the calculation part strictly. All right, thank you very much everyone. So I'd like to make a suggestion. All right, you can all drop your comment or what you think about it in the class. Okay, what if we start a revision while we are still doing the calculations? All right, and I'll be gunning for 10 p.m. for our revision. Hope that's a good time. All right, or should we leave it at 9:30 or is 10 o'clock good? All right, so let me know what you think. And our revision would be, all right, we'll have it here on YouTube, whereby we'll start to practice like other classes we've done. And then we realize that majority don't turn up for the discussion on Telegram. Like we have tomorrow by 5 a.m. We have the discussion of ECO, that is Principle of Economics 121 by 5 a.m. I think I'm going to upload the retrospective class, the video of the retrospective class, and send it to our group. All right, so I'm thinking I'm going to send the practice questions to us and exam key to be made available too. But I want us to have a practice question so we can come online and begin to do our kind of, but I prefer more of that towards our exam. I think we still have this month, next month, November exam is, if I'm not mistaken, exam is starting. So let me know all what you think. If we Telegram thing, fine. Yeah, it's fine also. So thank you very much, everyone. Let's do well to keep our notes up to date. I look forward to seeing us all in subsequent tutorial. Do you have a wonderful evening. Good night. Oh, thank you, Jesus.